Welcome back to another one of my videos. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Lotta, and today I'm going to show you another really easy fruit filling to use in your layered cakes. Now with just a handful of ingredients, we can create a really nice thick fruit puree that we can use for layering cakes or for desserts or really anything else. Now the basic recipe is pretty easy. You're going to want to get 250 grams of fruit, 25 grams of powdered sugar, 25 grams of cornstarch with a splash of water to help dissolve it, and the juice of half a lemon. Now to this basic recipe, you can feel free to add any other flavorings like some vanilla or some amaretto or some syrups or basically anything else that you want to add to give it a little bit more flavor. Personally, I like having the fruit kind of speak for itself and just using a little bit of sugar and lemon juice to kind of bring that out. But again, that is totally up to you. Now when it gets to the actual fruit, I usually end up using frozen fruit, in this case mango, and that's because I can always have it on hand and frozen. And second of all, they freeze it when it's actually in season and when it's as ripe as it can be. So you don't have to worry about letting your fruit sit and ripen or worry about it going bad because you can always just have it in your freezer ready to go. Now if you don't have frozen fruit, you can also feel free to use fresh fruit if you have it, or you can use canned fruit as well. Now I have used canned peaches before, which you can see in this video. And I do usually find that our canned fruit is usually in like a syrup, which makes it a little bit more sweet. So in those cases, I also usually half the amount of powdered sugar that I use, just because I don't want my fruit filling to be overly sweet, and I want a little bit more of that fruit flavor and a little bit more of that citrusy as well. That being said, the first thing we're going to do is puree our fruit. Now it's also important to remember that different fruits have a different amount of moisture or liquid inside of them. Berries often have a lot more moisture inside of them versus fruits such as mango. Now we want to be left with 250 milliliters of our fruit puree. If that isn't the case for you, you can always just add some water to bring it up to that mark, or some fruit juice or any other liquid. And again, you can also feel free to mix and match different fruits together. You could do like a mango and strawberry, or you can do lots of wild berries together, or peach and blueberry. Whatever you want your filling flavor to be in the end, you can just mix and match those fruits together. Now from here on out, our filling is going to come together pretty quickly. I am going to start by letting my cornstarch dissolve with some water, and that's just going to make sure that there's no clumps inside of our filling. Now we can throw everything inside of a pot and bring it up to a boil. Now another little tip I have for you is if you're using fruit such as blackberries or raspberries that have those little seeds in them, after you've pureed your fruit, I recommend giving it a sieve to kind of sieve out all of those seeds. That way they're not going to be in your filling in the end, and it's going to be a lot more smooth and a lot nicer when you're eating your filling. Now as we heat up our fruit, we just want to make sure to be constantly stirring it just to make sure that nothing gets stuck at the bottom or starts thickening up before the rest of our filling does. And as it comes up to a boil, it is going to get nice and thick from the cornstarch, which is exactly what we want. Now as you can see, it's starting to boil and it's already starting to thicken up. So I'm going to let it boil for about 2 to 3 minutes just to make sure that everything is nice and thick. Now at this point you can also see that it's not as cloudy anymore and the color is a lot more vibrant, and that means that the cornstarch has done its job and it's cooked down. Now that our filling is nice and thick, we can go ahead and add in 25 grams of butter. Now our butter is really important, so as our filling cools, it's going to help thicken everything up a little bit, and it's also just adding a lot more flavor. So at this point, we can just transfer our filling and cover it with plastic wrap to make sure that there's no film or skin that gets created on the top. Now we just have to wait for our filling to completely cool before we can use it to layer our cake. Now once the filling is completely cooled off, you can add it to a piping bag and use it for layering cakes, which is what I do. You can also add it straight into your buttercream to give your buttercream a little bit more fruit flavor as well. Or you can use it as a filling for muffins or really any other desserts that you can think of. So that's going to be everything for today's video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up or write me a comment down below. And as always, the whole recipe is going to be in the description box as well.